Today on Homeworthy, we're visiting the modern and airy Chicago apartment of interior designer and art enthusiast Alissa Johnson. Housed in a former church, she aimed to create a juxtaposition between the Gothic and historic exterior of her building and the sleek and contemporary interiors. Enjoy! You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Before today's episode, click the join button below to support all of the storytelling we do on this channel. Our growing community of members help to directly fund more videos so we can capture these extraordinary homes from around the world. So join today to receive early and exclusive access to new Homeworthy videos.
Hi Homeworthy, my name is Alissa Johnson. Welcome to my home in Chicago. Come on in. Welcome to my entryway. So the first design choice was this console. I needed a piece that had a lot of storage. I have 2 dogs, need to drop gloves, things for winter, leashes, things like that in here. I paired it with this gilded mirror, and I kind of love the juxtaposition of more of a modern piece with this more of a vintage inspired mirror. I got this bowl here, this catch-all. Every entry needs a catch-all to drop keys, jewelry, you name it, when you come in the door. I got this in Round Top, Texas. Lots of great finds there. And then always a diptyque candle. Love those, use them for clients all the time. So my apartment is in a church. It was built in 1906. It's a Lutheran church built by German immigrants. And what I love about this space is that it's you would never know that there's apartment units inside this building. But when you walk in through the front door, it's very modern. So I love that juxtaposition of, this kind of like Gothic architecture on the outside with a very like modern space. Now we're going into the living room. As you can see, it's an open floor plan. I love green. I think it's very calming with the overall color palette. As an interior designer, I see colors and patterns all day. So I really wanted to do something that's very like neutral and calming. I consider green as a neutral. I have this white couch. I do, as I mentioned, have 2 dogs. This is one of the most durable couches ever. So do not be afraid to go with white, as long as you have a very good performance grade fabric. This coffee table was a find on Facebook Marketplace. I don't always have the best of luck there, but this was such a steal. I had to take it. Love marble. It adds a lot of like natural elements to the space. Love a good shag rug. It's all wool, so again, super durable. You'll hear me talk about that a lot. So the pop of color in this room was the green Mario Bellini velvet chairs. People say these aren't super comfortable, or they don't look comfortable, but they actually are. And that's the way I kind of just tied in that color. And then it also ties in with a lot of greenery throughout the space as well. So a lot of my art is very textural. I definitely have this organic look and feel. So the way to bring interest was through textures and a lot of abstract. So this ties in, it's like a nice contrast with the couch, but it's not too much of a pop. I love the brown border around here, and it kind of ties in a lot of the browns in the pillows, the wood floors. And again, it's just kind of like that serene, it gives you that serene look and feel. I'm a huge sucker for coffee table books. So of course I have tons of coffee table books, obviously all interior design related. Yes, I actually do read them. A lot of people think that I don't, but I do. It's not just for show, but it is nice to have for show as well. I have this really pretty handmade vase here. It's got some speckles on it, which again, adding in a little bit of texture, very sculptural, which I love. And then some nickel candlesticks, and yeah, just kind of add some balance and like reflectiveness to the space. So I'm an interior designer. So my palette right now is very clean, modern, organic. I'll say that does kind of tend to be my go-to, but I also love doing fun patterns, vibrant, traditional, you name it, contemporary, all of the above. But this kind of felt like it already had the bones of like these wood floors, and I kind of just used this modern sleek and built on top of that, and then paired all of these pieces to match that vibe. Another way to add texture, again, because I don't have a lot of color, it's very neutral, modern, and sleek. So another way to add some texture in was through this fluted side table and then this alabaster lamp with some brass. The brass adds some warmth. There's a lot of blacks and greens and a little bit of natural material. So I love adding like a little bit of brass actually to a lot of my clients. I always have a touch of brass in places because I feel like it brings in some warmth. And then, yeah, with all of the pillows, again, adding on some textures, some of this like shearling and fur, some velvets, and it all just ties in really nicely with all of the different textures in the space. My favorite thing is, and I recommend this to all of my clients, is the Samsung Frame TV. I went with the black frame. You can do white oak. That makes it actually look a little bit different than a regular TV. But I love this. It's very flush. You can put up any piece of art that you want. But I decided for this one now, but I do change it often. It's definitely my go-to for all clients. I always recommend the Samsung Frame. This is my main living space. I try not to watch a ton of TV, but yes, I play music up here. This is like the main point. So if I'm cooking, people over here, this is just like the hangout area for everyone. I love the open floor concept. So right off the living room, we have the kitchen in here. Again, it still ties in from all the browns and blacks. I really use this kitchen when I started to source furniture throughout, sticking with more neutrals. I love to use black as like a grounding, especially if there's a lot of white. They did mix this like more of a white oak looking or whitewash looking island against more of a darker wood cabinet with some black fixtures. And then my favorite piece in the kitchen, which I just got, and I feel like it's so appropriate for a kitchen. This is by Eric Stefanski. It says Saturday nights and Sunday mornings. You know, just kind of gives you a really good feel of the kitchen. And then my biggest thing is breakfast. I'm a huge breakfast person. So Sunday mornings is when you can just like truly enjoy and sit in the kitchen and cook and just like enjoy your morning before a busy week. So this just gives me such good energy, and I again love that it's like kind of like this textured canvas and still very simple, but still makes an impact, which I love. So the space was pretty much move-in ready. So from the kitchen cabinets, this was already done. The reason why I found this space was because I used to jog around in the neighborhood and I took a photo of this church, and then later on I found out it was they were selling it as condo units. So, and I coincidentally saw a listing for an apartment, and so I immediately rented it out, and then as of 2 months ago, I purchased it. So now I can finally do more stuff in here, so I will definitely want to do marble in here. I'll replace these quartz countertops with marble, and then do marble here and on the backsplash again to give some like really lovely movement in the veining. I still love the backsplash in existing countertops. It's kind of like light and airy, which I love, but I'm a sucker for some marble, and I love marble. People are afraid of marble a lot in kitchens, but they are beautiful and they're not as scary as everyone thinks. Another one of my like feel-good moments in the entry and kitchen area is this photograph. It's of this couple on the beach. I'm from Texas. I lived in California for a bit, so warm weather is just it's just me. So this kind of it brings me back to that warm weather, especially in cold months in the winter. This just brings me back and makes me nostalgic. There was quite a bit of empty space over here in this area off of the dining room and living room. So I created this cute little sitting area, a chair with an ottoman. I love oversized pieces of art. This is one of my favorite colors right now, this kind of plum color palette, and I feel like it works really well with green. Of course, you need a floor lamp and a little side table and vases next to your little reading area. And yes, I do use this as well. Some people ask, do you even sit here? I do, and it's also very comfortable. So nice to like look outside. You'll also notice that there is a railing here because the building is a historical building. We could not change any of the floors or windows on the exterior. They built this rail, which seems kind of silly, but it's because of the historical landmark that they have on this building. So because it's such a neutral color palette throughout the space, I love adding in sculptural pieces as well. And that's something that I do for all of my clients. Everything needs to be interesting. So from the legs and the fur and the leather on this chair with the rope to the legs on this floor lamp, I love just like bringing in some more funky pieces. Also because sometimes clients don't allow me to do such funky stuff, so I can do that in my own home. So next up is the dining room. I love this oversized piece of art. Right now it really does tie in with the light blue backsplash in the kitchen. The reason why I really wanted to live in this space, it just kind of gave me very calm vibes. And so this kind of feels like the sky, the ocean. It fits perfectly on this space right here. So this was a moment that I had to do here. And then I tied in some people are scared to mix wood tones. Don't ever be afraid of that. So we have this darker wood dining table. Again, I have darker wood floors, and then paired with these cane chairs with some black on it. I love this like sculptural vase here. It kind of has this like indentation right there and adds some sculpture there. And then in this area, I have all of my personal photos, because what's a better way to put these photos in than a dining and a gathering area. So anything from my dogs, parents, places I've visited, people I love. So I love this little montage, and I can always swap things out if I want, but the black and white kind of gives it this like almost like neutral and color palette. So this light fixture I had in my other apartment, and this is something that I had added even before I even owned the space. I really encourage people, even if you're renting, to swap light fixtures, do some painting, because you can always, that's an easy thing to do in an apartment. Luckily, I purchased this place, so it's all staying for me, but this was one of the first things, and I've had this for a really long time. And this is one of the first things that I added to the apartment. I love the scale of it. Scale is huge, and I always love doing something linear above a dining table. And this, again, is just adding a lot of that sculpture to the space. So being in Chicago, sometimes it is harder to get spaces with a full dining area. So I was super excited to have this perfect space for a dining area. When I do host, I love to add linen napkins, some brass silverware, kind of ties in with the rest of the apartment. Now that we're done with the dining, I'll show you into the primary bedroom. Now we're in the primary bedroom. I wanted to make it feel bright and airy. This is always a place where you come to unwind from a long day. So I did a lot of ivories and whites. I tied in this kind of vintage inspired rug. And then I have this really cute boucle bench at the end of the bed. This is great for my dogs to jump up here as like a transition onto the bed. And then I just got these pieces by Darwin Fitz. He kind of tied in these like pastel-y colors, and it kind of, that's where it brings in a bit of the color in the bedroom. One of my favorite pieces in the bedroom are these burled wood nightstands. And then of course I love doing sconces. It always clears up the nightstand, you know, rather than doing lamps. So, and I added like this little wicker shade. It kind of brings in that texture and ties in the cane from the dining room, and is just continuing that overall design direction. And then of course, always, again, textural pillows on the bed. I added in some linen white drapery. It kind of ties in with the walls. And I added the track on the ceiling. It kind of brings the eye up. Also, this was kind of like a trickier area in general with this railing kind of protrudes from the wall. But these little windows open, which I love in the summer. I love to open it up and these drapes just flow and it's really like lovely and bright and airy. And then this is another like really lovely piece of art. It kind of reminds me of the dining art. Again, just continuing that bright and airy, like very beach sky look and feel. And then another one of my absolute favorite pieces is this dresser. It brings in texture. It kind of is a little bit sculptural. So what's a better way than to bring that in a furniture piece? Directly off the bedroom is my walk-in closet. So I still need to transition out to summer, but I have this jeans section. I am obsessed with jeans. So all of my jeans are here. And then over here, I have all of my blazers for work and then more dress pants here. And then of course, purses, accessories, things like that. Having such a big closet, and I was very lucky that this space allowed for lots of good walk-in closets. Again, you don't get that in Chicago. So this was just like the best ever to have spaces for all my shoes, for all my sweaters, and there's a spot for everything, which that brings me so much joy. Now that we saw my primary bedroom, we'll move on to the office. Welcome to my office. One of my biggest inspiration for this office and the piece that I really want to build around was this desk. I've had my eye on this desk for probably about 6-7 years now, and I am so happy that I finally have the space for this desk. The details and the carving on it is just incredible. Something I've never seen before. So I'm so happy that I finally was able to get this desk. The overall color palette in here is a Pharaoh and Ball color. I love that it changes throughout the day. Right now it can kind of give like a mauvey pink. At night it can go down and feel more beige, which I love how it kind of creates like a different mood throughout the day. And then of course, as an interior designer, I need lots of inspo. This is a lot of my inspiration and motivation for projects, such a huge range, but you can see there's a lot of similarities between these spaces and what I have in my home now. Just again, with like a lot of like the contemporary look and feel, more of the browns and marbles, things like that. And then again, more coffee table books. Love, will forever be a collector of coffee table books. And then this handmade vase with this like gold detail is just gorgeous. And then this kind of horse-shaped raffia console table across from my desk. I would describe my personal design style very contemporary, more neutral with pops of color. And lots of textures. It just kind of always feels very organic and cozy. And so this space, especially when I'm working for clients, really kind of encapsulates me, and I get that sense of warmth and I can just crank away at designs for other clients. So I wanted something very colorful. It's tying in a lot of the greens, some blues, and this pink color from the walls. This is always my background when I'm on Zoom calls, and people always comment on it. It's so fun. It's also the first thing you see when you walk in. So I just needed something bold on this wall, and this was like the perfect color palette for that. And then very comfy velvet chair. These are always, office chairs are always hard to feel very comfortable in, but I love this one. And then it's also tied with this kind of like checkered wool rug on the ground. It's more like an ivory and brown, and is just tying in from the rest of the space in the living and dining. The whole space in the apartment is all white and bright and airy, but in offices, libraries, I love to paint everything and kind of so it feels like it hugs you and it just feels very warm. So I painted the walls, the baseboards, all the trims, the doors, the ceiling. And so that just like, there's no harsh lines from like a white baseboard or a white door to the wall color. So I just wanted this to feel cozy in here by painting everything the same color throughout. On my desk, I have this cute Kelly Wearstler kind of like petite lamp. I can't have a ton of, things on my desk, but this is like the perfect office desk lamp with this marble vase and this kind of like sculptural shade. And then this spiky vase here, which I love. Again, just adding in sculptural pieces wherever I can to add some interest. Now I'll take you into the guest room. So this is also, again, like a very bright and airy space. I have this sleeper sofa that pulls out for guests to stay. I have this like greenish piece of abstract art on the wall above to tie in the greens again from the living. I love when everything's super cohesive, and I feel like this tied that in really nicely. The dresser is one of my favorite pieces. This marble, as you can tell, I'm obsessed with marble. I love this piece. And again, like a very sculptural base here. And then this is a hand-painted piece of art that I got in the North Shore area with this really lovely like wood frame here. One of my biggest pieces of advice when purchasing art is that you want a combo of scale. I obviously love large pieces, especially because I have such white, light and airy walls, and this brings your eye. So I would say having oversized pieces and pieces that fit whatever it's grounding. Like I always think of something as like it's a vignette. So I see this, the dresser, and then the piece of art isn't too big, it's not too small, it doesn't feel too cluttery. And then maybe in another room you could do like a montage of smaller pieces so it feels like you're not doing the same thing over and over, or it doesn't feel too repetitive. I got this adorable lamp from Anthropology. I love the paper shade, and it kind of brings in like a little bit of curve in here. And then I have this more of like a stone cement side table here. I love the shapes, the different shapes that I have going on in here. I wanted to keep it welcoming for guests, but also still keep it fun. What makes a house a home is how you feel when you come into the space. I could be biased, but I feel like your environment truly does affect how you feel and interact in a space, and it can bring emotion. So I feel like having something that you love and you're surrounded by things that you love and feel comfortable in, that's what makes a home.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.